name of this story is When I Went Screaming Naked into the Night. I wanted to scream long and loud from diaphragm depths. I wanted to scream. It was during yet another report on CNN or MSNBC about government incompetence regarding the pandemic when I finally snapped and said, I can't take this shit no more, and asked myself, what would a person do in this state of panic and despair? And at that moment, it seemed reasonable to tear off the rest of my clothes and run screaming and naked through the streets, and I'd run and scream and run until my throat went sandpaper and my legs went rubber and lungs went inside out, and I'd explode into atmospheric particles and join some unseen intelligence soaring free, no longer tethered to this flesh penitentiary.
Screaming breaks all language barriers, even between man and beast.
And with hopes of achieving this catharsis while the iron was hot, I pulled off my undershirt and forgot to first remove my eyeglasses, and they flew over the back of my head. So I fumbled for them in my blurry living room, and upon locating them, I removed the rest of my clothing and went to the front door. But then I realized I should turn off the television. But where did I put the remote? Oh, fuck it, I'll press the power button on the TV, wherever that is. And then I opened the door and stepped outside, and I returned for shoes because walking barefoot in the house is one thing, but the porch, let alone the street, is another. So after choosing New Balance running shoes over the usual Stan Smiths, I stepped outside, and after 3 strides, I returned for underwear, not because I'm modest, but things just felt a little weird and uncomfortable, recalling how it felt that one time using the treadmill naked, thinking,
Hell, I'm working out at home. I can run naked and shower right after and without adding sweaty clothes to the laundry pile.
But that was a disaster. My privates bounced around in ways I had no idea they would, and I couldn't make it more than a few minutes. So in sneakers and boxer briefs, I readied to launch, but made it only as far as a step off the porch before I returned to retrieve a mask because I didn't know where I would end up when I finally tired out from the running and the screaming, and it would have been irresponsible, not to mention hypocritical, to not have a mask. So gripping mask in one hand and house key in the other, I was finally ready to run screaming and mostly naked into the night. I would scream and scream something unintelligible and primal, but recognizable in the programming buried in the thalamus of every human, stretching back to the discovery of fire, and now the present-day cauldron of rage would spill along my journey as I run the streets, navigated only by instinct. And my neighbors, including the ones I never introduced myself to despite living here over a decade, would hear my scream, and they'd understand, and maybe they'd scream in solidarity. And I didn't even stretch before my run like I usually do, and I know they now say stretching right before a run is bad for you, like when I learned all those eggs I ate are going to kill me.
Or are they going to prolong my life? Damn, I forget.
But anyway, I took my first stride off the porch, deciding I wouldn't start screaming until I gathered some speed. And in my scream, you would faintly hear the cadence of my street-slapping strides as a backing beat. So onto the driveway, I began to focus my rage in a way that connected thoughts in the pit of my stomach, and then crossing the street, I was struck by a bike whose pilot didn't see me emerge from in front of my parked car, and also I wasn't wearing the reflective clothing I usually don at night, and he had slowed down enough not to lose his balance, and he left his bike to attend to his human roadkill, saying, "Are you all right? Why are you in your underwear?" And I didn't even see his face. I focused on the wobbly moon as my glasses were no longer on my face. And as the hard candy shock wore off and the chocolate throb seeped in, I motionlessly summoned whatever energy remained, and I screamed.